Well, good afternoon. It's Philip Anderson with you here, Property Sharemarket Economics. I wanted to talk to you today about history and history repeating. Most of us accept that history sort of rhymes over the years. The great trader W.D. Gann, he clearly showed, and I'm very happy with what he was doing, it's satisfied me, history repeats in set timeframes. And if you can work those set timeframes out, you can make some astounding forecasts, which is what we do. Let me give you an example. We're talking 1924. We're talking about Zinoviev controversy. Briefly, Zinoviev was one of the commissars of the newly formed Russian Communist Party, the Russian Revolution after 1917, and they wrote purportedly the commissar wrote a letter to the newly formed Labour Party in 1924, asking all those left of centre to revolt, make a revolution, and make communism the dominant form of government in the UK back in 1924. Let me give you some historical background so you see it. I'll just read the first paragraph here. On the 21st of January 1924, Lenin died. By coincidence, the Conservative government in Westminster collapsed on the same day when Stanley Baldwin lost a vote in the House of Commons. The King, thinking it only fair to give Labor a chance to govern, invited Ramsay MacDonald as the leader of the second largest party to form the first Labor government rather than dissolving Parliament for a general election. Okay? Rather than dissolving, for a general election. Can you see how history is repeating in the 100 years? Look at 2024, how we got all sort of like a new Labor coming, and the possibility of the end of the Conservatives. And what happened in 1924, it was basically the end of the Liberals. Okay, so that's how your sort of history repeats. Gann showed clearly that history repeats in set timeframes. The ones you really got to watch: 20 years back, 60 years back, 100 years back. So 2024 is likely to be a repeat of the past set timeframes. You can expect the same thing for 2025. 1925 for the UK was a very difficult year. 2025 will be the same for the UK. Let me show you another how history repeats. 1924, after Lenin's death, the Soviet government continued to follow the two parallel tracks of foreign policy laid down by Lenin and Trotsky. They actively exploited any opportunity aboard to organise and support armed uprisings in order to extend the area of communist power. For example, in the autumn of 1923, they had promoted and directed an abortive revolution in Germany. Okay, can you see how 1923, 24, 25, they were very difficult years in Europe, especially for Germany, and revolution that had been happening in Russia. It's all been happening again, and all very worthwhile studying that 100-year history back. And I'll finish with this. Over the years, most accounts of the Zinoviev affair have expressed the view that the letter was a forgery. They have disagreed about how much the bad publicity for Labor Party affected the election's result and the return of a government led by Mr. Baldwin. Okay, so here we had again another major election for 2024. How you can see again how the Russians are continuing to try and upset and interfere in all the elections. It's all about history repeating. It's worthwhile noting that the actual Russian Federation itself was formed in 1922. Have a look what happened in 2022, 100-year anniversary. Russians back in Ukraine. Okay, so anyway, that's the book. There's an overview of controversy. I urge you all the time to read history. The book's available from Shepherd Walwyn Publishers. It's a very, very simple read, but it gives you a good illustration of history. Study your history because history repeats. Gann found that it repeats in set timeframes. Then you can start to make some astounding forecasts. That's it for today. We'll talk more later on.